Welcome to the CX Pod, where we aim to expand people's perception of customer experience management. We know that customer experience goes hand in hand with employee experience, and we believe that a broader and more holistic view might even replace terms like CX and EX with people experience or human experience.
Hey, and welcome back to the CX Pod. This is Merete, and I'm here today with Joanna and Gitana. Welcome, both of you. I'm going to let you talk in a minute, but I just have to share a really great experience that I've just had with a brand called, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Oda. They're Finnish. So my ring broke. It just doesn't want to charge anymore. And I sent them an email saying, what do I do? They offered me to buy a new ring at a very good discount, which I unfortunately had to say no to because it was just, too much to invest. And I said, isn't there any other way? Can we do a reset? Can we do something? And these guys are now sending me a returned product that somebody bought, but it didn't fit. So it's basically not used. And I just love the customer experience and the story of this. How amazing. And it's clear that they have a process. Obviously, they tried to sell me a new ring first, but then when I couldn't, they thanked me for being a loyal customer for 4 years. And now I'm getting a new ring that comes with a subscription. That's very clever. So we're talking a lot about the business value and the customer value. And here they meet in a perfect match because it's good business for them to help me out, but it's also great for me that I don't have to buy an entirely new ring. So I just wanted to start off with that story because there's hope out there. Some brands understand it. And with that, I welcome you, Joanna. Do you want to introduce yourself today? How are you?
Yeah.
What's going on? How do you feel?
Yeah, I've been on top of the world. It's great to be here with everybody again and ready for a fantastic episode. We've got an amazing guest with us here today, Gitana, and I'm not going to pronounce the rest of your name, Gitana. I'm going to let you do that in a minute. But I'm going to jump straight into an introduction. Gitana, we met a while back. I think maybe a couple of years, maybe 2.5. As one does in the CX community, quite often within a network or on LinkedIn. I think we actually met that way. And we've also both been members of the Women in CX. So we also met at the conference a couple of years back. And again, you joined our conference for the Nordic B2B conference last year, which was amazing because you reached out to me and said, can I help? Can I come and help and actually do some things, both rigging up the day before, helping during the session, and of course you did that, and we rewarded you, of course, with a ticket. And I loved the way that you was proactive, Gitana, and reached out and suggested that. So thank you so much for that. But a short intro before I let you take over the microphone. From my understanding, you are a lady from Lithuania. You have been devoted to improving customer interactions for many years. You've also co-founded the CX Association in Lithuania, which is all about helping and developing competencies within local businesses. So a round of applause to you for, again, proactiveness. We love this. In your prior role to being a consultant, which you are currently today, an entrepreneur and consultant, you worked with developing global CX programs and implementing VOC. Is that correct, or have I said something? No, I've said something right. I could see it in your eyes there.
Actually, I'm about to say that I wouldn't state it better or introduce myself better. Thank you very much, Joanna. Really nice to know you for already many years. Yeah, just to pronounce my surnames.
Yes, please do.
Veličkaitė-Remeikienė. Yeah.
Veličkaitė-Remeikienė.
I actually think I know just a little bit of Lithuanian. So am I allowed to try?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you want to work?
Yeah, tomorrow at 8:00, right? So what about Cape?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah. And the last one, Labas rytas.
Good morning.
Hey.
Amazing, Merete. You almost listening.
This is from my days working in the fish factory, and I had to call the Lithuanian workers to ask if they could come to work the next morning at 8 o'clock. So
yes, you have a lot of Lithuanians coming to Norway and for work.
yeah, luckily, I don't know what we would do without Lithuanians in Norway, to be honest. So I'm actually a little sad that you're not here because, you know, from Joanna's introduction of you as well, your proactivity and you know, aid with, you know, both being visible on LinkedIn and being a CX face, as we like to call ourselves and other people in the sphere. So a really, really warm welcome. We're excited to hear more about you and your take on our questions and to get to learn a little bit more about who you are. So, you know, briefly, who is this Gitana that we're meeting here today?
Yeah, I have a lot of roles as you have like mom, wife, sister, daughter, and so on. And coming closer to our topic, I'm a customer. I'm customer, and yeah, that's why I really into customer experience topic, and with my quite extensive background from IT, project management, process quality management, and so on. I really came to the essence of business, I would say. And it is so important to see business from customer side. It brings absolutely great, excellent purpose for the business to be and to earn money and expand and do everything. So yeah, I am a customer who wants to be happy.
I think that's the best introduction we've ever had. You know, I'm just a customer who wants to be happy, and who doesn't want to be happy as a customer, right?
Yeah.
So sorry, Joanna. Can I go? You want to go? Can I go?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm stealing this one. So I just wanted to know, like, because from you, where you sit and where you sort of act and work and exist, to say it like that, what is it that's capturing your attention these days in your universe of customer experience? Like, what is it that's sort of standing out for you at this time?
Yeah, in our country, I think in many of countries, CX is quite new discipline. I see my first of priorities to increase awareness of CX in our country and to get this buy-in from business, like to get more and more CX roles in organizations, to have more customer-oriented organizations and so on. And another priority is to really develop CX competence for CX specialists, for people who want to join this area. And for this, of course, I do a lot of things. As I like to say, everything what I do is related to CX because I consult, I have trainings, I lead this community, I am mentor, and recently, I was selected as board member of one company covering CX area. So a lot of different like caps, but everything is about CX.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds to me like there's no doubt about it. I have noticed and seen that you are making a difference, Gitana, in Lithuania. And you said, you know, your main what's capturing your attention is the need to raise an awareness, the need to get buy-in, the need to get customer experience roles within an organization. What's the state? What's the state of it today? How is it looking? Is it changing?
It is changing. It is changing. And one thing is what I see that, for example, we have CX conference already maybe for 10 years, organized by some like media company. And when I was like joining this conference, everybody was talking about customer service. And just last year, I was like surprised, like, oh my God, they started to talk about CX. You know, and of course it's not only my like work who impacted all the country, no, but you know, this message gets through some, and I see these changes. People started to talk about it. I get more and more requests like, you know, my management set objective for this year to become customer oriented organization, but we don't know what it is. Can you help?
Yeah.
I love that they actually come out and reach out and ask for that help.
Yeah.
Because exactly what you're describing now is something I hear a lot. Yeah, customer strategy is like our main focus, but I don't hear so much the asking.
No, and I think it's a great question to ask as well, because and we keep talking about this, I think everywhere, and I think everywhere we go, even to the companies and the brands who are actually quite far developed within CX, it's about asking, what does success look like within customer experience? Like what does the future picture look like when we succeeded with this? How do we know that we sort of reached our goal of the happiest customers, or the most satisfied customers, or the most loyal customers? How does it look like, and how do we measure if we're on the right track, and how do we measure if we actually made it? And I think I don't remember who said it here on the pod, but something about starting, you need to start with the future and what you want it to look like, and then step backwards and look, where are we today, and understand where do we start from, and where is it that we want to go. And there's something else that you said as well, Gitana, that I like to sort of point out, because you talk about, or you say that these guys have been talking about customer service for such a long time, and all of a sudden you realize that it's customer experience we're talking about. And we see this in so many other places. It often starts with customer service, and then you realize that, we couldn't put the responsibility of the customers in this corner of the organization, because it's going to hit here too, and there, and there, and there. And then all of a sudden you understand that customer service is one of the disciplines within, but there's so much more to it. And customer services aren't going to be able to provide a good service if the rest of the processes aren't sort of tagging along and providing their value. And this is why I love your experience within, quality management or process quality ensuring, because I think there's a lot of value for people working with customer experience to take from that. So yeah, that was just a few thoughts running through my mind as you were talking. Yeah.
Perfect. Great thoughts. So I'm going to jump on to the next question. Gitana, how do we ensure that customer insights are usable to operationalize customer improvements?
Yeah, good question, actually. And again, talking about the questions, what I get from business is like, we measure everything. Like, we have so much data about customer experience. We implemented surveys on all the possible touch points. What to do next? How to make it usable? And so on. And my answer is that CX improvement, like customer experience improvement, is not in customer experience team hands. It is like for all organization to act. Of course, people should focus on supporting the organization, that this customer focus would be in place, that continuous improvement like culture would be in place, and so on. And of course, to build this customer experience or customer focused culture, you need to take actions like define personas, create a customer journey to show these touch points, what really are the main pain points for the organization. Then maybe build this service blueprint to show who is involved, which teams could act on it, because people who did the work, they know the best what could be improved, like how to improve. And maybe biggest not challenge but biggest issue is for CX teams, that they think that they need to improve, and then create actions and go to the teams, do this and do that. But you are not on the field, you don't know how it works, and it's a lot about culture, about delegation. And then of course customer voice should go to everybody in the organization, that they would get a feedback, like how customers evaluate their work and take actions. So that's my point of view. I don't know, do you agree with that or not?
No, but I think I like how, because it's about, we need to expose the organization for the feedback, right? Because, and I'm not going to say that all management does this, but a lot of management, they see a problem within the customer data, the customer insights. They see customers aren't happy with X, Y, Z, right? And then they go to product team and they say, look, you need to fix this. We need to create this solution, right? Instead of exposing the organization for the feedback so that the people who understand what the problem the customer is describing is, they can start working on the solution. Because we see way too often a CEO or a COO or a CFO trying to fix a problem with a sort of defined solution. And then they, it's the waterfall, right? Instead of the agile approach. And I think this is where customer insights can be so valuable, because if you expose them to the organization, it's going to start triggering people's sort of idea of, okay, this is actually a problem. How do we solve it? And they have time to think it through the process and not just jump straight to the solution. So I think I like the approach.
Yeah.
It's also showing that we're still going to need customer insights, maybe not necessarily survey data, right, that we've talked about before, but it's so crucial that we do have voice of the customer in one sense or another.
Absolutely.
To the organization.
Yeah, and democratizing. Here goes Joanna with a struggling English word.
Our English-speaking podcast host. Love it.
Just to add one more maybe aspect, that when we have a problem, we jump to solution. We always forget root cause analysis.
Yes.
Root cause analysis would bring you closer to the people who really can act on it. So, and you as CX person, you cannot do this root cause analysis. You don't understand how it works.
No, we see the symptoms, but you don't want to put a small band-aid to a bleeding. I think we are on the same page on this one. So
absolutely.
I was wondering, having this in mind, and I'm excited about this with your experience as well, with the processes and all of that. What do you think is the sort of next major evolution within CX? Like, what's going to be the next within our world? What do you think?
I think this next is not really next, it's happening. I see AI coming, and we are happy with it and we are afraid of it. And the same with customers, I would say, because many customers already feel that service is faster, less mistakes when AI is involved and so on. But from other hand, they are really a bit confused. Am I ready to talk to a robot? It's still like a bit of not trusting. Actually, I will share. There was research from Zendesk. Actually, I joined yesterday their webinar, and the research showed that 67% of consumers are okay with AI in CX. 67, and it grew up 10%, like 10% points from last year. I was really surprised that it's really a big number.
It's a huge number. Yeah. I also heard, to add on to that, Gitana, I also read at the weekend, I think this was from Forrester, that already 89% of business to business buyers are using a form of GenAI in their buying process. And I mean, that's also because we've talked a lot about how we can use AI internally to help us affect the customer journey. But and I think also now ChatGPT, also OpenAI, also launched Operator last weekend. So we're actually also moving into a new era where consumers are also using AI to help them do their things, to make choices. That adds a whole new ball game for very many businesses.
Yeah, and related to customer experience, actually customer expectations and so on. As a customer, I'm not sure yet how will impact my expectations and so on. So, but it is maybe not evolution, it's revolution.
But I also think we're going to see the gap become bigger and bigger between the ones who are embracing it and using it. It's like when we saw with the just general digitalization, we saw, I'm going to generalize now, but we saw the older people sort of lagging behind. But I'm not saying all old people are not digital, but it's sort of like a generalization, right? So we saw them lagging behind with, the digital banking and the online shopping and all of that. And I think that gap is going to become even bigger. And I think also we need to consider and take in that this is not a demographic thing. It's not age this isn't age defined, or, it's defined by our personalities and who we are. And I think that the intentions that we've seen with becoming fully digital, like, we talk digital first, and I do know that most people, when they want to book a travel, for instance, a travel experience, they go online first. But I think we're going to see more and more that some industries will need to have that human sort of backup in a bigger sense than others. And I do think that becoming digitalized and using AI, it's going to give you a lot of advantages, but you're also going to lose some customers on the way because they just don't want it. And I think that's very interesting to see how business is going to be sort of diversified, right? And maybe there's room for all, because not all people are digital and AI driven.
But digital should be seamless, actually. Yeah, because even we have people as agents talking to the customer, they could use AI and have all the information, not like act as first line support, but also get answers from second line and so on, just while talking, and resolve the issues just on the go. And then these people, I'm happy, because I do not see this robot, but it works. You have and
that
of course,
layer.
it depends what kind of topics we have from customer side. Like if it's like finance related, health related, sensitive topics, of course, only human relationship. But this seamless robots helping these people, I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't help thinking that we're overestimating the maturity of, the people who are creating the AI tools. They obviously fully understand what it can do and what it's about. But I think I'm just seeing, from my day-to-day life that, the vast majority isn't using AI in that way that, we talk about it, and we talk a lot about it on the pod. And there are so many opportunities, but they're not daily yet. It's a small sort of group of people who are interested in using it. And I think it's, people are saying AI is coming and it's coming fast. And I agree, but it's not going to go as fast. And we do have time to adopt. We do have time to learn. And I think a lot of ideas, we know that 80% of all AI projects fail. So a lot of them are going to be sort of tossed away before they even reach. So, I'm a lot less scared now than I was 6 months ago, only just because, and it's also about what people embrace, like what the general person in the street embraces of the AI tools that are being provided. So ChatGPT, obviously, big thing. Everyone is now using it. Copilot, personal assistance, yes, to a certain degree, might sort of come up and reach far, but I think there's a lot of AI services that people are just going to go, no, we don't understand it, don't need it, want the personal touch. So I'm going to stop going on.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. I did see in the same thing that I read about the 89% that it is expected to grow by 40% between now and 2029. That's a huge growth. But at the same time, I totally agree that we do have time, and we should make the time to implement AI tools or changes with a focus on customer experience at the heart of things.
If there's one thing we know, if the customers don't like it, no matter how good it is, like, right? No matter how well you think your product is, if the customers don't like it, they're not going to use it and they're not going to buy it, and then it's not going to survive. So we'll see. We'll see where humanity takes us on this one. But it's a big question.
I fully agree. I also think that it's still a long way to go to adopt this technology, to make it as like really business as usual for CX, for customers, and so on. So we have a lot of experiments around. But also I wish to businesses that they really take this customer perspective, as you, Merete, mentioned, that think about customers, how they will use even really nice new technology, and your programmers like to create like different solutions, but
and I think at the end of the day, we need to make sure that AI is solving the problems that we need solved, right? Not the problems that we don't need solved.
Yeah. And one of the problems we have is humans aren't trained well enough.
I'm going to cut you and say one of the problems we have is humans, and then I'm just going to cut you.
Yeah. One of the problems, but actually, that is almost the point that I'm going to make, because the greatest thing that I fear about over relying on AI is that we reduce our chances to develop our human being capabilities. Because the more and more that we give even the basic sort of transactions away from human beings and over to AI agents or virtual agents, that means that we are stealing human beings from the opportunity to develop people skills. And that is probably the number one greatest worry that I have today, is what effect will this have on the huge scale of mankind, of how we interact with each other and human beings. Because you only learn that through doing, learning, making mistakes, getting better, getting coached. If we steal all of these opportunities, that I fear is the greatest worry that we have. And that was huge. Sorry, but
no, it's fine. And I actually have an add-on questions for you both. Actually, I'm going to start with you, Joanna. But when you use, say, Copilot or ChatGPT or whatever it is you use, do you say thank you when they provide their answer?
Sometimes I do, not always, but I do sometimes.
I make sure to say thank you and thank you again, and I send hearts and I send kisses, because we need to teach them that that's something we want.
That's a good point.
Unless if you don't thank your AI assistant, then it's not going to develop the ability to say thank you to others.
Yeah, good point.
So if you want it to become more human, you need to treat it human as well. So, I don't know, do you
not always I'm saying thank you, but when I ask for something, I say please.
That's good.
Yeah.
And they do appreciate it. I mean, I always get a no worries, I'm happy to help, and we want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
That's my little obsession. All right.
Very good points. Okay, let's move on. Gitana, what's your take on what's the main reason a company should be enabling customer experience as a driver, like a customer experience as part of their overall business strategy, as a driver to achieve competitive advantage?
Of course, there are many benefits, as we know, and we try to calculate these benefits and so on. We look for income growth, we look for cost efficiency, because happy customers buy more, because happy employees do work first time right, and so on. Really be different from others. I think this brand differentiation is really important. And one really nice example, what I heard somewhere, I cannot really remember the source, but this cross-industry CX. Like when we go to bank, we see how the things are prepared for you as a customer. I don't know, registry, you get some number, you sit on comfortable chairs and so on. And then you go to tax authority and so on. And you expect the same, because we are human. We got once good experience, and then we go to another place, we expect the same. And I think that companies should look for really good ideas, best practices of CX, not only in own industry, but also look what's happening around, and be the first who will adopt some different things and really improve customer experience or create some wow moments and so on. So I think it's very, very important, because competition is growing, and it is now not like competition in Lithuania. For example, I wanted to buy a Christmas present to my husband. I went to local e-shop, and I see that delivery is 7 days. Then I went to Amazon, and delivery was 5 days. And cheaper, the same thing, I bought in Amazon. I don't care where this where
it comes from.
Well, yes. And and again, we travel a lot, we see experiences in other country, we come here, we want to be also treated the same way, and so on. Competition and customer expectations are really growing, and if you don't take care about your customers, about how they feel, what they want. It's really disadvantage.
And I think you're onto something crucial right there, because like you say, like when I started off in the CX sort of industry, and this was probably in Telia back when I got my first official CX role. Like I've always been working within customer care, but this was defined as a CX role. And I kept imagining this brand and the logo and, that emotion that you used to connect with, whatever, if it was, Coca-Cola or Telia or, Adidas, Nike, whatever. But it only takes you that far, right? I mean, you can easily make your customers fall in love with you, but you need to maintain the relationship. And I think the sum of all of your projects and services, like it is the sum of all the touch points. It's a cliche that, if somebody, and John Sills talks, and we refer to him a lot because he has so many great points, but he talks about this, with taxi services, right? I'm going to be loyal to the one who makes my life easier. And I might be sadder to leave a brand than to leave another brand if I was very happy with the brand. But if it cannot compete.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, like Jannike here in Norway, Jannike Drengert-Veding, who talks about the customer niceness. That's not valuable. Just being nice for being nice. It's nice, but it's not good enough. It's not going to take you anywhere. So you need to constantly balance out and see, it's the effort that you're willing to take away as well from that, like you say, with the delivery time. And then I think that also has, at some point you're going to, we have Temu, and this has been a big discussion, at least in Norway lately, how you just don't buy stuff from there because you don't know what sort of material it's made of. Is it toxic? Are you going to get poisoned? And it's just too cheap that you know that it's probably made by children under awful conditions. Yes. There are some of these factors, you can't push them too far because then people are gonna. So I think there's a whole sort of balance that needs to be, and if you understand that, if you use data and insight to understand that, you're gonna go far.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, and we're actually approaching the end of the episode, which is always a little bit sad as well, because and this has been a great conversation, but. I'm really, really eager to hear from you, Gitana. What is sort of like your proudest moment working with, CX or even human experience, but from this world that we exist in and this world that we love talking about? What is it that's your sort of top achievement that has made you the most proud to be in this field of work, this line of work? Yeah, you can have a sip. I can sing a song. Actually, Joanna's really good at bad Christmas jokes, so if you need a minute.
I'm sorry. So many different and very interesting thoughts. And about myself, I would say one episode was like in the beginning of my interest to CX because I was working for back office of Danske Bank here in Lithuania, and customer is somewhere. Nobody thinks customer, nobody talks customer, and then we got idea that we need to implement customer-centric training, customer-centric behavior training, and we changed our mind that our customers is not our colleagues in Norway, Sweden, or Denmark, but our customer is end customer of Danske Bank. We treat the things correctly, and work for end customer. And actually, in 3 months, we trained 550 employees. It was the trainer program. Then we had 10 trainers, and it's like, and it was switch from like back office culture to like really customer centric culture. Everybody started to analyze own errors. What is the impact of my error to customer and customer? What I can do better for the customer. If I have idea to like save full-time employee, like FTE hours and so on, how it will impact customer, even in back office, it was so big change. And the interesting thing that being like leader of this initiative, I was working in the office and everybody was like, see, customer is coming.
Yeah.
It was like being role model of customer centricity. So
I love this.
Yeah, it was really, really powerful
and the
to
fact
see
that
this change in 3 months, really. Wow.
Yeah, and the fact that they embraced it so much is a huge indicator to me that people want to provide good experiences.
Absolutely.
People want to work human-centric. it's not something that you bring to the table and they go like, okay, then. It's like people get excited about these things. It creates culture. So I think it's a beautiful end story.
Absolutely. I just want to add on something about that. The fact that you chose that also, Gitana, tells me that it's also a very memorable experience. It's really stuck in your mind. And I think that should also be another reason why this is a great way to leave it as an end high, is the fact that the impact that has probably resonated throughout the organization, like knock-on effects, because people have been activated in like a common mission, and it's become a memorable activity. I'm sure it's still to this day is having influence on very many small projects and happenings and activities throughout the organization. So yeah, really love that.
I think you're absolutely correct, Joanna. So great. We are going to have to round it off. I just want to mention really, really quickly that my little excitement about Aura before in this episode was not in any way sponsored. It was just me purely sharing my experience, just to sort of have that specified. Gitana, thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience and your, all of your knowledge and thoughts and ideas with us. Excited to probably see you again at the conference this year, hopefully. And that was it for today. You have been listening to the CX Pod. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to the CX Pod. If you want to reach us, you can always find us on LinkedIn. And please remember to follow us on Spotify and leave a review of what you think.